Philip, from Skallitz. I don't see any wounds, but he's shaking terribly.
For the love of God! What have you been doing?
What happened to Philip?
Poor man. There was nothing wrong with him, and now he's getting worse every day.
But do you know why?
Maybe. He didn't run away from Skallitz, you see. He hid for days, among the corpses. If he got poisoned...
But what can we do?
Us? Nothing. Only Father Simon might have been able to save him. He knew a lot about poisons.
And where is he?
You know he left Skallitz years ago.
And does anyone know where he ended up?
If you believe the stories about a wild man in the woods, then Rovna is the place to go. May the Lord watch over you.
He's not reacting. But all I can see that's wrong with him is his leg.
Henry, how are you?
What's wrong with that man by the altar? He doesn't look wounded, but he's really pale and doesn't react at all.
He had a broken leg. A bad one. The bone had come right through the skin. We tried to straighten it, but I don't know if we did it right. I'm not holding out much hope for him. I've seen folk in that state before, and it didn't end well.
My God! There has to be something we can do.
And what do you suggest? The monks won't help, and I don't know anyone else who can.
Well, I can try. I'll straighten his leg.
You?
Unfortunately, I've had occasion to try this sort of thing before. You have to place the bones as precisely as you can next to each other. It's hard, but you have to ignore any screams of pain. That's the only way to help him.
Well, fine. Try it then. Take care.
Are you holding him firmly?
Aye.
Done.
What the?
Hey you! Don't move a muscle. Hey you! Halt! Don't move a finger.
Yeah.
Surrender!
You asked for it.
Gone weak at the knee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that all you've got? You rats.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll slaughter you.
Yeah.
What's the matter? Come on. Is that all you've got?
Yeah.
Take that.
Yeah.
Giving up already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the matter?
Yeah.
Come on. You call that combat?
Yeah.
I'll slaughter you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't hide from me. I'm going to enjoy it. Ow! Ah! Ah! He's vanished.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Good health, dear.
I see there's not much going on around here. So you've stayed here on your own?
Quite so, all by myself. All the others were either killed by the Cumans or fled to Rattay.
I'm sorry to hear that. And what's keeping you here, alone?
My older brother ran away with the wandering players, so when our father was on his deathbed, he made me swear I'd never leave our home.
I can see you took your vow seriously.
I did. But it's starting to get dangerous around here. Again.
The Cumans.
If it were Cumans, I'd grab an axe and that would be that. But a week back, some rabble made their way through here. They begged me for food, and mark my words, they weren't taking no for an answer. If they'd been just a tad hungrier, I swear they would have stormed the cottage.
There are gangs like that around, true enough. I saw the mess they left behind. Savages.
It was horrible. People tried to find shelter in the church, but them dogs was waiting. They knew too well that's where folk would try to hide.
And where did you hide?
By the grace of God, I got my family away into the woods.
And I don't see your family with you. I hope those bastards didn't sniff them out.
No, it takes better man than them to track me down. I sent my wife to Rattay with some others.
Do you think folk will ever go back to their homes?
Oh, I don't know about Skallitz, but the folk here are sure to want to come back. The only thing they're missing is spiritual support.
Do you mean the priest?
Indeed. When the land's at war, noblemen fight to protect their property. But simple folk want someone to tend their souls.
Of course. But it was the Skallitz parish priest who ministered here, wasn't it?
He did. But there's been no sign of him since the attack. Or at least he's definitely not in Rattay among the refugees.
That's true enough. I didn't see him there.
But if you're interested, young fella, maybe you could help us find the priest we need here.
I can always ask. But I've really got no idea where to start.
I can help with that. A few years ago, there used to be another priest in Skallitz. Simon, I think his name was.
Simon? Father Simon, I remember him. That's the one who went missing, right?
Aye. I don't want to spread rumours, but they say he was in love with his housekeeper. And then she died somehow, poor thing.
That's not a story I've come across.
It only reaches folk who care for such tales. Well, to finish the story, Simon left the parish and ran away. You know that already. There was neither sight nor sound of him for a long time. Until this spring, he showed up here.
And what's he doing here?
That's just it. People say he's become a hermit.
All right. And where can I find him?
I couldn't tell you exactly, but you could start by talking to that girl's parents. Well, they live on a farm nearby, and it's likely they know more. They may even have had words with him.
I'll go and see what they have to say for themselves.
God go with you, lad, and I pray you find him. If some heathen stabs me in my sleep, I'd rather have a decent burial.
Don't worry. I'll bring someone.
God be with you.
Yeah.
Hey, you... What were you expecting? Hand over your coin.
You want coin, do you? For the funeral, I suppose. A coffin and a priest. Sorry, but your old woman will have to pay for that. Better start running if you don't want to die.
Come down. No need to get upset. It's just a bit of banter. Nothing more. So, I'll be on my way then. Farewell.
Yeah.
Has something happened?
Mother! Greetings.
It may sound strange, but I'm looking for Simon, the priest.
Father Simon? I last saw him when he was paying me damages. That was back when Mary was still with us. If you want to know something, ask the wife. I don't have the time or the will to talk about that man.
I understand. Thank you.
God be with you.
Good God. What happened to your clothes? If you were robbed, you should report it.
I'm looking for the priest, Father Simon, and I heard you might know of him.
Simon? What do you want him for?
I want to talk to him. That's all you need to know.
For a lad who wants information, you aren't being too civil about asking. Very well. What is it you want to know?
What went on between Simon and your daughter?
Nothing that hasn't happened before. Our Mary was his housemaid in Skallitz. She was pretty, very pretty. And he was young, and so things went the way they do between comely young folk. She came back home one day, heavy with child.
Yes, these things happen. What can you do?
I said as much. I was just glad our girl was provided for. Only she never had the chance to hold that babe in her arms. She didn't live through the birth.
I'm very sorry.
Such is a woman's lot in life. Men die in battle, and women in the arms of the midwife.
And what happened to Simon?
The poor man. He took it the worst. He was sure God's wrath smote Mary for her fornication.
The Bible does say it's a terrible sin.
Well, I'm not fit to judge, and the ways of the Lord are strange. He was overflowing with grief. He barely spoke, didn't eat, refused to take a new housemaid. And then, one fine day, the presbytery was deserted. It took a good season before another priest came along.
Where can I find him? He's said to be wandering around here somewhere.
I heard that too, and I'm inclined to believe it, even though I haven't seen him myself.
How come?
After our poor Mary went to her rest, we used some of the money he'd paid us to put a cross up by the roadside. And lately, there's been wreaths of comfrey turning up next to it. I don't take them there, nor my husband neither.
You think Simon does?
Who knows? Maybe it's a miracle. I could believe anything. But there's not been fresh ones for a while, so perhaps he's moved on elsewhere again.
I see. Can you tell me where that cross is?
Certainly. There are settling tanks for the mines to the west of Skallitz. On the hill above them in the woods, there are several paths. Mary's cross is by one of them, close to the brook.
All right, thanks. I'll be going.
Very good, then. And if you do find him, let him know that we have no hard feelings.
I'll tell him.
Take care.
This must be that cross. Mary's mother was right. Someone did lay flowers here recently. I should have a look around and see if there's comfrey growing anywhere nearby.
Hey, you! What are you doing here?
I've come for the priest. Simon.
There's no one here called that.
There is. Do you take me for a fool?
All right. Maybe there is someone here. What of it? We're not going anywhere.
All right. You've asked for it.
Quitting! Bring it on!
What about figs?
Curse it!
Oh, God Almighty, what did you do?
I think you'll find I freed you.
But what about those poor wretches? Did you have to kill them?
Poor wretches. They assaulted you and held you captive. Who knows what they would have done to you?
I know, but that didn't merit a death sentence.
Well, apparently it did.
Merciful God, this is horrific.
Just calm down, Father. Justice would have caught up with them sooner or later. I'm sure their attack on you wasn't their first crime.
I know, but still.
I'm sorry, but there was no other way. With all this chaos in the land, scoundrels like these are crawling from under every rock. The governors throughout the realm are running out of hanging space.
I'll have to bury them.
If it pleases you, Father.
And to whom do I owe my salvation?
My name's Henry. You may remember me. I'm the son of the Skallitz blacksmith.
Your face does seem familiar. But listen, Henry, I can't help feeling you didn't stumble across me by accident.
It's true. I've come to ask a favor of you.
Me? What on earth could I do for you?
I need you to go back to St. James. The folk there need spiritual guidance. Skallitz is a burned-out shell, and many have died in St. James. They need a priest. Any priest.
I understand, but I have to disappoint you. I gave up my calling. Instead, I've given myself over to repentance.
The people need you. Please understand that.
I understand, but they need a better priest than I.
Do you have any idea what's going on around you? There is war, Father. War. People are dying. They slaughtered folk in St. James who sought sanctuary in the church.
I'm not blind. I do know what's happened.
And yet you want me to go back and tell them that the only person, far and wide, who could serve as their priest turned them down?
You lay a great burden on me, Henry.
I know that, but the people do need you.
You're probably right. It is my duty. At least for a time, until they find someone better.
I don't think they'll find anyone better in a hurry.
All right. I'll take what I can carry and go back to St. James.
Thank you. Your parishioners will be very grateful.
I need help with treatment.
And what's wrong with you?
Oh, nothing. But Philip from Skallitz is dying. He's lying in Sasau and won't last long.
Slowly now. What happened to him?
Nobody knows much. He's not wounded, but I heard he was hiding from the Cumans for days in a pile of carcasses.
The Lord have mercy. The living should never lie with the dead. His intestines must be purged, but even then he's in God's hands.
How do I clean his intestines?
It might surprise you, but you'll have to give him alcoholic spirits. The purest you can get your hands on. The best is distilled from Artemisia. It'll make him a bit delirious, but it'll help. I'll show you how to prepare it.
God be with you.
I found you a priest.
Really? That's wonderful news. Who is he?
The former parish priest of St. James. I persuaded him to return to live among you, at least for a while.
So you found him?
Yes. He was roaming the woods around here.
Thank God. You'll see. Once there's a priest, people will soon be back.
I hope so.
I've put together a small sum for a new piece, so I thought a portion should definitely go to you, as a reward.
I couldn't possibly take it. You'll need the money to rebuild the village.
As you wish, then. I shan't weigh you down with it.
So, farewell to you, and I hope he gets here soon. Just don't you let him run off again.
I'll keep an eye on him myself. Godspeed to you, Henry, and thank you for your help. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Hey, my man. How about a small wager, my good man?
That depends. A wager over what?
It's simple. I tell you a riddle. If you solve it, you get back twice the sum you wager. If you don't, I get to keep your coin.
That sounds good. Let's do it.
Now, listen carefully. In the feast hall on the table are 10 candles. Suddenly, a gust of wind throws open the window and blows out 2 candles. A little later, another candle goes out. The servant, therefore, closes the hall window. Now the wind cannot blow out any more. So how many candles can the servant find to relight the following morning in the hall?
3.
Is the correct answer. While the wind blows out 3, 7 burn down completely overnight, so the next day only those 3 can be rekindled. Well, what can I do? Here's your 10 groschen. Spend them as best you can. Maybe we'll meet up again sometime.
We may well do so. Thank you. Yeah.
Now, what have we here? Best.
You're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Off that empty!
Wrong side of me.
Well, what's coming?
Yeah!
You call that comrades?
Yeah!
Is that the best you could do?
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Well, I never. Don't reach to the knees, have you? He must have
Yeah.
fall. Come here. Ah!
Look out! There's an enemy here!
You'll get one. Wait.
There!
Yeah!
What's the matter? Look! Come on! An enemy!
Yeah!
Bring it on!
Watch out! There's some bandits there!